You're listening to Catalyst Talks. We're bringing another season of epic upgrades, bridging ancient intelligence with modern wisdom to activate our future human potential here on Earth now. I'll be sharing solo episodes and conversations with awakened leaders, sparking deep inquiry into who we are, why we're here, what's our real purpose at this time, and how can we harmonize with the higher energies of Earth and the cosmos to usher in a new evolution of ourselves and humanity. I'm Stephanie Trager, a guide to the Wayfinders, here to bring in our new Earth. Join me at stephanietrager.com and let's connect on socials at Stephanie Trager. And if you've enjoyed these episodes, please take a moment to share, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, comment on YouTube, review the show. It really helps enormously. Thank you so much for being here. Your attention means the world to me. And now enjoy this episode. Before we dive into this uninterrupted episode, if you resonate with what we're sharing, please sign up for our emails and receive even more super transformational insights, special offerings on coaching opportunities with me and other deep wisdom keepers, plus new courses, events, and retreats we're offering. And stay tuned for when we launch really, really cool things that are coming up soon. And you can sign up at stephanietrager.com/connect. And if you'd like to book a consult with me, a free consultation to explore working together, you'll find a link there as well. That's stephanietrager.com/connect. And we'll share that link in the show notes. And now let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Catalyst Talks podcast. I am thrilled to be back with season 5. In the past 4 seasons, we have so much great content, so many great timeless guests. There is so much to listen to. So I invite you to listen to the back episodes if you're new to Catalyst Talks. And in those past episodes, we were sharing a lot of beautiful thought leaders and practitioners who are catalyzing change and at scale. That was the theme for the first 4 years, catalyzing change and at scale. We're so into a whole new evolution, a whole new epoch right now, and it is the time for the Wayfinders. The theme of this season is the Wayfinders Path. This is the season of my work in the world. It is the season for the Wayfinders, the intuitives, the soul seekers, the visionaries, the light leaders, the people who are 30 years ahead, 10 years ahead, who are guiding the ship in the energetic realms at the very least. And most of the people you're going to be hearing from are doing it in the physical realm as well. So the Wayfinders back in ancient times were the people who were at the bow of the ship, guiding the boat, no GPS. The GPS was the stars. The GPS was the earth energies. And they trusted, they knew, they felt that inner sense. They had a knowing. And this is the invitation for all of us right now, is to tap into that knowing and unlock our innate abilities to perceive, to expand our perception, expand our aperture of perception about reality, about what is real. Because going into this future that we are heading into, it is different. The whole fabric of our future is different. And creating new systems now with the same energetic template, the imprints from here, even if it sounds great, even if it's regenerative, even if it's amazing, it's a question. It's a moment to question how we are creating a future that has a completely different energy imprint. And those of you who are sensitive energetically, you're probably feeling something, and you might not really even know what it is or have the vocabulary, not only the words, but the perceptual meaning-making lens of what is actually unfolding right now. So much more is unfolding than, the markets are going haywire, or, governments are shifting, or power is shifting. It's so much more than that. And the invitation for this episode that I want to share with you is to open your heart, open your mind, and come with me on a path called Initiate. This is the path for this episode. It is part of a 6-part series called the Initiate series, sharing through the Catalyst Talks podcast, interspersed with my guests over the next many months. The Initiate series really was born out of a sense that we are going through an initiation. This is a transition. It's all of the things we can say. Things are happening that are hard, that are bad, that are this, that are that. It's awesome. And like any hard time in our life, it's always how we decide and how we choose to speak about it, because the story we tell is the outcome. It is always that way. We are speaking our world into being. The story we tell is the outcome. And how are you talking about your personal life right now, your business life, your professional life, your love life, your life? And how are you speaking about the world right now? This is a time where impeccability with our word is next level. It's we are speaking the fabric of reality into being with every word, thought, and breath. And in the Initiate series, I'm going to be sharing with you some tools and some perceptual meaning making lenses that you can bring into your heart, into your path, and use to experience a change, a shift. This is a place, a portal where I wanted to share and invite and invoke within each and every one of you listening your power as a quantum creator. What is that? I don't use the word quantum in the sense of everyone's just throwing quantum in front of everything and it sounds cool. No, it's really not that. And today is around owning your power as a creator in general, as a creator, and owning your power as a quantum creator. What's the difference? What is on offer in there? And the next episode is going to be your new identity as a future human. And if you stay tuned here with all the other episodes and the guests, this is the theme of the podcast. Your new identity as a future human, tapping into a higher intelligence, honing extrasensory perception, systems thinking, a multidimensional lens, beyond climate, expanding perception to connect with earth energies. And that is a keynote that I do as well. And I love sharing that talk. So these are all talks. These are all amazing ways to, if you are somebody who's bringing people in to speak to your audience, to your community, to your teams, hello, I'm here. Reach out if any of this content lands, because this is a time for folks to just expand their meaning making lens and realize that we are in a moment that we were made for. We are not experiencing some random act of dissolution of the old order. We were made for this time. And what is ours to do? What is ours to do? Well, let's dive into this. The foundation of the work that I'm doing and the way that I work with individuals and organizations through coaching and strategic consulting, strategic advisory is, it's very practical. How do we thrive in these chaotic times? How do we thrive in these chaotic times while also acknowledging that this is a huge initiation? And the way that we do that is we have to zoom out. I mean, we're not really going to solve this from, okay, let's look at all of the pieces and reorganize the strategy. And yeah, we can. That might work for a minute. That is not what is bringing us into the future. And if you want to be that innovator, if you want to be that leading organization, that leading individual, that thought leader, that speaker, whatever it is that you are doing, putting your thought leadership into the world, it behooves you to tap into your powers as a futurist, as a quantum creator, because our future it's not this Newtonian physics that are it's not Einsteinian and Newtonian physics, the whole foundation of what we believed is reality, what we colluded with in order to create this reality. And this is what we're going to unpack today in a moment. It is something so much bigger. It is something so much bigger. And I want to ask you to just suspend what you believe is true about reality, because none of us really know. We're perceiving a tiny fraction of absolute reality, like less than 1%, way less than 1% of absolute reality is the bandwidth of our vision. It's the bandwidth of where we're creating our world, our banks, our houses, our cars, our things to do. We are living in a tiny bandwidth of what is possible for humans. And we have not even tapped into the power of our pure DNA. And we're altering everything about the human body with transhumanism and technology and all kinds of technologies that are interfering with the DNA. Maybe we were saying it's augmenting. Some people might say, yes, it's improving. It's creating longevity. It's activating our potential through technology. That's one perspective. There's another perspective where we haven't even experienced what it is to be in the fullest power of our potential as pure humans, as Greg Braden speaks about in his new book, The Pure Humans. And so why are we always seeking outside of ourselves before we've been completed in ourselves? We are living in evolutionary times. It is time to deepen our awareness that a totally different reality is we're on the cusp of a totally different reality. And it is asking, how do we also anchor that into this matrix and thrive? Because that's what we're doing, right? We're still paying for things and evolving in this matrix. So how do we thrive right now where we're at? I want to share a framework the way that I'm seeing things right now. And the question is, when we hear something in the world, like it's going that direction and there's nothing you can do about it, we're already there. It's nothing we can do about it. Whether it's a directive from a government or a directive from the trajectory of technology or a directive from just the direction of the zeitgeist. There are four categories I'm watching the collective energies fall into. And at first we accept, okay, this is it. This is just it. That's one stage. And the next is we acquiesce. We're no longer only accepting. Now we're really like bought in and we're going along with it. The next is we comply. Comply is we not only are all the way in and bought in with it, but we're complying, we're going along with it. And we're also, it's like, now this is the right way. And we're telling other people about it too. It's like, you must comply. And then the fourth stage is colluding, where we proliferate and create more of that. And this is how new worlds are born, good or bad, whatever. There's no really good or bad. This is how worlds are born. We're either creating ourselves as the creator, or we are going along with something else that someone or a collective of other has created. It's not necessarily the natural order of how Mother Earth intended things to flow, or the Great Spirit, or whatever your higher power, or even the complexity of evolution in the cosmos. It's not necessarily that the way we've created our reality is the way that the only way. It is such a tiny fraction of possibility that we've accepted. Enough people accepted, acquiesced to, complied with, and collude with, that we proliferate and create an agreement. We agree and create a world together. And when we are in that experience and there's a part of us that says, I don't really feel this though. Doesn't really align with me. Yet we accept, acquiesce, comply, or collude anyway. What happens is there's something called cognitive dissonance. It is a psychological term coined by Leon Festinger in the 60s or 70s. And honestly, the essence of what cognitive dissonance is an ancient concept of dissonance, basically, incongruence. And what Festinger so poignantly expressed was different versions of the way that cognitive dissonance shows up in our lives. And when we are acquiescing, accepting, acquiescing, complying, or colluding to form an agreement about how things are, even if we are not really aligned with it, and we're taking action and doing things that we're not, in any case in your life, if you're doing anything that you know is not right for you, i.e. eating food we know has all kinds of poisons in it right now, and yet you go out, you go to the restaurant, you buy the thing, and it's like, it doesn't register that, oh, that dye that I was just reading about causes cancer is in this food. It doesn't register to even ask if it's in the food. And then people eat it, and then, okay, acquiescing, complying, colluding, accepting, or on some level subconsciously doing this. Well, there's a part of us that knows, because we are intelligent beings. We know it. We are aware. There's a part of our intelligence that is aware of everything all the time, because we have sensory perception that we're just not always listening to or tapped into, yet we know. So here's this example where something is not great for you or not good for you, and you do it anyway. We all have been there and do that in many ways. And we all do it in ways that, because we're just colluding with the way things are, and it's not a good or bad. Again, this is a reality. This is like stripping away any emotional judgment. It is fact. Knowing something's bad for you, doing, or the collective doing it anyway. And where do we store this energy? So sometimes we act like we don't know, but we know. Somewhere in our psyche lives that knowing. We act like we don't know, or we might actually subconsciously decide that we need to believe it's good for us. So we look for evidence that it's good for us, even if we know that it's not. And then the third version of cognitive dissonance I'll share here is where you know it's not good for you and you do it anyway and you still know it's not good for you and then you have shame or you beat yourself up about it. And that is a little bit more insidious because there is that low frequency of shame that we carry. And I think that a lot of us are in that zone right now. There's so much happening so fast and we know that it might not be the best version of our future that we're creating, yet we're going along with it. We're accepting, we're acquiescing, we're complying, we're colluding. And I want to share that there's so many more possibilities of what we're experiencing right now. And when we look into the future, there's several different possibilities. There's several different timelines of where we're going to go. Probably going to be in the same place as we're probably going to end up in the same place. It's going to be a different timeline and track to get there, depending on what we choose now. And choosing to own your power as a creator, own your power as a quantum creator is really what's important right now. Because when we do that, we have to look, well, what does that mean? We have to say, what does that even mean? And then unpack that. And if we're not even in that inquiry, then we're likely accepting, acquiescing, complying and colluding with somebody else's version of creation. And so one of the ways that I look into the future and I say we're really only going to be able to see as far into the future as we can see as far into the past. And where I see humanity now is in an interesting place because it's amazing. Now there's a mainstreaming and an invitation to listen and heed the wisdom of indigenous people who are still connected to the earth energies and the cosmos and connected to the ancient intelligence that their ancestors remember. And yet even this is an interesting thing because the indigenous people on our planet, including we are all indigenous to somewhere, right? Our indigenous sisters and brothers who are from same place, who have remained connected and still hold that connection and sacred practices and energies of connection with nature and the cosmos. And many of us are carrying this as well because we remember, even if it wasn't necessarily taught to us by our parents, we remember who we are and why we're here. And so the wisdom right now is in a container of sorts that is going as far back as indigenous wisdom, indigenous cultures. We're saying, okay, maybe the world is 5,000 years old because that's as far back as we can see. And then that's informing how far into the future we can go with our vision and understanding of possibility. And when we expand that aperture of perception to realize that there were epochs before, the Hopi called them worlds before, the Vedic Indians, the ancient the ancient Vedics in India called them yugas. These are cycles of time, 10, 12,000 years, 26,000 years, 70,000 years. There is evidence on this planet of ancient intelligence way beyond what the stories and narratives in the textbooks have told, what the stories and narratives in religious texts have told. And if this is accepted into the mainstream, it'll challenge so much of the foundation of our reality that it's not currently accepted, even though there is science. There is science in archaeology, there is science in medicine, there is science in biology, there is science in quantum physics, there is science in cosmology, there is so much astronomy, there is so much science to show and prove with hard evidence. And this is where we come to this moment and say, what is science? What is science? What do we believe is true about reality? Well, so many people are locked into, if it's not in the science, it's not real. Yet what science? There's a lot of different science. Yes, there is more than one science. I mean, how could we think that there's only one tiny bandwidth of reality that is possible? And so the Wayfinders, my friends, are the intuitives, the seers, the people who can see things that other people might not be able to see. And we are all capable of the skills of a Wayfinder. These are abilities to adapt into the realms of where we're going, abilities to adapt as evolutionary consciousness in the universe, on Earth, we're part of an evolving universe. The planets are evolving. The orbits of which the planets are navigating and moving and orbiting are evolving to tap into free energy and, I mean, next evolution of where we're going. And this is a time for the wayfinders to not only see it and feel it, but also to decode these words into a vocabulary that people understand so that it lands and so that it merges into the zeitgeist language, right? And at the same time, show people that you're taking them somewhere they haven't been before. There are so many things happening right now on this earth that are inviting us to expand how we identify ourselves. And I want to share with you something, and this is owning your power as a quantum creator, owning your power as a creator really stems from a modality that came through me and that I use with clients all the time. And I'm going to give you a little bit of this framework and then ask you to share this episode if you found it valuable. I'm going to ask you to reach out to me if you'd like some more deeper support with this, if you'd like to talk about how your organization could benefit from this. And this is a framework for looking at how do we evolve from the old identity as programmed creators into our new identity that is in a place of higher purpose where we own our power as quantum creators. Quantum creators. There are there's many actually in between. I'm going to share with you three pillars, three stages of this journey. We go from identity, in our old identity, either individually and as a group, as an organization, or as a collective, and as a collective, because this is everything is everything. So who are you? Who was the old you that you find yourself falling back into those old patterns that you're creating from the programmed creator? Like, this is where we rely on our intellect and our logical mind. How do we know what to do? We figure it out. We change our mindset. We look to the authorities. We follow the rules. We collude. We comply. We acquiesce. This is the where when we interface with the other, we are judging. There's othering. There's this versus that. There's control. There's resistance. There's comparing, obeying. This is where we react to get something from somebody else. This is the old program. And what is happening is very interesting. I'll get there when we step into the next step on this framework. The fundamental orientation here in the identity as a program creator is the anthropocentric. We are separate from each other, from nature, from the cosmos. To get our needs met, to feel safe in the world, we need to control more. We need to be guarded and cautious and prioritize our safety over growth. This is as much as we can make it beautiful and change the languaging and the intention, and this is an energy, and it is an energy very much of what we have been told and believe, that this is a reality. We exist in this program. Our identity in this place is we identify with our body, and we identify with our social pedigree and the family template. We identify with labels and names and titles. And even if you're totally a quantum creator, yeah, where's that part of you that's like, yes, I need my PhD to be accepted, or yes, I need my this, or am I that to feel like I'm enough? This is a place where enoughness energy is huge and rampant and involved in almost all of our decisions. This is a place where we are unconscious and we might not feel welcomed to share our emotions and live in a place of honesty and vulnerability. This is a place where we value money, we value reinforced beliefs about performance and requirements and the game. This is where time is a rigid construct and it's against us and there's not enough of it and we are in contraction. And this is where money is a physical object associated with our power, and this is where the scarcity program lives. There's so many more aspects of this program that the identity, or where our identity is born, and where we still how we identify as within this program as creators, programmed creators. The next step, once we're like, I'm done with this, we leave corporate or we leave the old thing, or we leave our family, and we're like, I want to lean into my purpose. And so we're leaning into purpose now. And as we're stepping in this place of purpose. We're heart-centered creators. And in this place as a heart-centered creator, we listen to our intuition, our inner compass. This is where we're embracing indigenous wisdoms and the deeper ancient, acknowledging that there are in indigenous and sacred wisdoms. This is where we're looking within and we're imagining and prioritizing states of flow and avoiding the old traps of our identity. Here we're willing to do the work. We're unraveling those old parts of our identity. And a lot of times in this place of purpose as the heart-centered creator, we're really embracing our emotional state. And it's so important because sometimes people can get stuck in this as well, where and I call these identity traps. Within this place of purpose, we are so identified with our emotional stories of who we were and why we are the way we are now that sometimes we can be stuck in this place, this heart as a heart-centered creator. Although beautiful and powerful, there's even more. As a heart-centered creator, we're curious and we're present and we have compassion and we are still in this anthropocentric state. We actually might speak about it differently. We're separate still. And now we're a little bit more sovereign and we have the capacity to resource ourselves in healthy ways. We're still in the orientation of the anthropocentric that we are separate from each other and Earth. Even if we talk about it that we're connected and we're all one, we're really still living in this place and creating from a place of separation. This is where our relationship to all life, like life happens for me. It's happening from me. It's happening for me. I'm resilient. I'm growth oriented, tapping into what a soul even is. And it's still an emotional journey of the soul and empathy. And we're differentiating from body, mind, and soul in this place as heart-centered creators. It's constructive. We are looking at our emotional journey with mindful awareness and compassion. This is a beautiful place in this place of purpose. We all want to feel what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And we honor our own pace of creation, how we deal with time here. How we deal with money is that we are creative and we're emotionally driven and we're resourcing from more aligned opportunities. Here, our boundaries are important because we're in the identity programmed creator. Our boundaries are really formed from judgment, and in this place of purpose and our as heart-centered creators, our boundaries are sourced from honoring our needs and desires. A success is all about alignment, and in this place, it's awesome, right? This is where we've been talking about for the last 10 years. Yes, we want to be in this place of purpose-driven business, purpose. And yet more and more over the last 10 years, I've been talking about this framework and as a spectrum of moving from our identity into the next evolution of self. Everything I'm talking about here is not only individual, it's the individual and the program, the template of the collective. Identity, purpose. Well, it's so interesting because more and more I'm hearing now people saying higher purpose. What's my higher purpose? What's my higher purpose? They're not just saying what's my purpose. When I speak of higher purpose, I'm talking about the place of higher purpose. It's not mine. Long as it's mine, I'm in that anthropocentric state as a heart-centered creator, which is wonderful. And there's more. As we're evolving, there's no mine. It's ours. It's knowing what is yours to do and not needing to identify with my purpose, because guess what? That's an identity. I call that purpose identity, because then you need a brand. Then it becomes a transactional thing anyway. How do you sell it? And what's the, what's the metric of success? And then it becomes the whole program again. And we've done this. We've watered purpose down into this energy that was so gorgeous. We've watered it down into a metric and program and identity. And we're being pulled into something now. We're being birthed into a new way. And that is the way of higher purpose as quantum creators. And from here, we know it's not happening even to us or for us. It's happening through us. And we're just antennas. We're radio antennas tuning into a field that has all the information we need. And it's attuned to a universal intelligence that is guiding us into something so much bigger. And if we were all really in this place of higher purpose at owning our power as quantum creators, well, that would actually reduce the need for a lot of government, and it would reduce the need for a lot of corporate dominance and power. And so really this is the reason why we're not all expanding into our epic power as quantum creators, is because there's a program that is purposely holding us back from that. Because once we're that powerful, well, everything else is crumbling. And we're looking at the world crumbling right now, thinking, oh my God, this is happening to us. This is happening for us. This is happening through us so that we can expand and really, really activate our power, our real power as creators with a quantum field, with a field of infinite potential, infinite, that is ever evolving in its own complexity and experiencing itself through us. And so, how do we do this? We use discernment. We receive information with discernment. This is around not only discerning, trusting our intuition, trusting that our intuition is more than just a gut sense. It is our power. It is our power to tap in and feel the energetics and decode the energetics of a situation in our lives and in others' lives, and to help strategize. And when we can anchor this into the 3D world, how do we thrive in these times? Yeah, it's tapping into this interface right here. This is a place where we are ecocentric and cosmocentric, not anthropocentric. This is where everything is energy, and we're like just microcosms of the macro. Everything is this giant holographic imprint of the other thing. Hologram, the big hologram. I talk about this all the time as well. And this is where we are instruments for creation. We are literally experiencing the cosmos, experiencing itself through us, or Mother Earth experiencing herself through us as we evolve, or Spirit experiencing itself through us as we evolve, and choose to realize and remember that we are the very thing that is creating through us. Our emotions here are just information. It's useful data that's feeding a consciousness expansion experiment. And we really value our highest expression. And there's no guilt in this place. There's no great guilt, because that doesn't even exist. The lower frequency doesn't exist. It exists only so that we can see the polarity, we can see duality for what it is, and we can stand in the middle and be like, oh, haha, there's that and there's that. It doesn't consume. And we realize that we're making up time. We've agreed and colluded and acquiesced to a limited time bandwidth of possibility, like a linear time tool. It's a construct, and that's all it is. It's a construct, and we can reconstruct it. And money is just currency. Money here expands the presence of who we are. It's a mythical manifestation of our power as creators. So many of you live in and create this way, and if to realize who you are and why you're here and what is yours to do now, and embrace who you really are, and embrace your real power. You know, how am I being? How am I creating? Is this from the old program? Is this really serving me? Is this serving our future? Is this serving the energy and the emotional template or frequency that I want to be creating from? There's so much to unpack here. I really hope that you've received the deeper meaning from this, the discernment of these different stages that we get to lean into. And once you're in this place of higher purpose, I'm not saying your higher purpose, once you're in this place of higher purpose, knowing what is yours to do, what is purposeful for you in this place, and how you can tap into your power as a creator, as a quantum creator, then we can look into, okay, what's useful from the program that I want to play with today? What's useful from the purpose, heart-centered creator place that I want to use and work with today? And often it's, okay, this is how I'm going to speak to my target audience today. This is how I'm going to speak to my team today. This is how I'm going to speak to my family today, because they're not like playing with me in this place of higher purpose necessarily. And I've got to find those words that actually make sense for them and where I can belong, because we do have this innate sense for a need for belonging. So this is a beautiful journey. And there's so much to unpack for each of us in these stages. And if this is speaking to you or landing in your heart, it is time to really, really like to activate and catalyze the next iteration, the next version, the next evolution of you. And one of the things that I love to do is play with the program and play with the heart-centered creator, like play with the programmed creator, and do it from this place of higher purpose. And that is where people, like, it just this framework, when I work with clients with this framework, it's like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. And it's a tool that I pray that you get to bring into your world and let this inform the meaning making lens that you're walking around with. If you would like to take this deeper with me, I would love for you to reach out. Come to my website at stephanietrager.com. Check out what I'm about, learn about the Wayfinders Path, and join me in the Coaching Sweat Lodge. The Coaching Sweat Lodge is where I help people move through the old the identity traps, because most often we're stuck in the identity traps. Those are old patterns and programs. Half the time they're subconscious and they're in our nervous system. And what is so cool about the heart-centered creator is you can identify all of those traps. We are so intellectually advanced these days that we are like, oh my gosh, I figured it out. Here's the story. And here's my nervous system, and here's what it's doing. And and we identify with those stories so much that they become our purpose identity. Does this make sense now? How do we unwind it? This is a deep, energetic journey. It's not only intellectual, and it's not only the emotional decoding. It is a journey. I work with people in the energetics. We do a lot of hypnotherapy and moving things in the energetic world and in the shamanic practices. And then we're ready to emerge. Then we're ready to talk strategy about the thing that we're creating. And let's play with the program. Let's play with the heart-centered creator program, because it's also a program. It's all a program anyway. And let's do it from this place of higher purpose as quantum creators. What does that look like? How do you embody that? If this is landing for you in any way, I welcome you to join me in a conversation. You can check out my website at stephanietrager.com. If you want to hop on my calendar for a discovery session, I call these inquiry sessions. We're really inquiring about what's alive right now and what kind of help and support do you need, and am I the right person for that? And you can go over to thewayfinderspath.com, thewayfinderspath.com, and hop on my calendar and let's have a conversation. If this was useful for you, please share it. Share it with your social media people, share with your email people, share with your friend, share with someone who needs to hear this right now, share with your CEO, your team, whoever, because this, my friends, this is the step into our future. How do you do it? Well, I've got tons of frameworks, and this is a time where our left brains need frameworks to feel safe in taking the leap into this next level of evolution of who we get to be as humans, and how we get to create and receive, and how we get to envision and participate in creating the future, not accepting or acquiescing or complying or colluding, creating. So if you're on this path with me of creation, reach out, and thank you for your presence today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your attention means the world to me. Thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, I have one ask. Please head over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up and comment on the episode. You can also find all of the podcast platforms and show notes at catalysttalks.com. And again, please subscribe and review. It really helps us out. And remember, there is so much more happening in the invisible. So be true to you.